I'm ranking the first half of season 10.
I'm not saying it!
I cannot sing with any grace. I really can't sing worth a damn. But I can just say one little thing.
I can't sing it, I'm not reviewing it still!
What is your favorite type of bird?
The winner is Raven.
Wrong!
In the southeast jungles of northern Antarctica, another small episode can be heard making generic noises from across the distances. A lone phoenix versus raven is searching for a mate, but due to a lack of any interesting edits in the analysis and a generally disinteresting fight, makes it a less desirable mate. Thankfully, pretty colors and beautiful looking hand-drawn animation combined with high quality progression ensures the episode still manages to be solid, and may even escape being the lowest rank episode that some dumb Australian will actually watch later in the season. Inferno! Terrorize!
Royalty! I actually quite like Ant-Man vs. Atom. I think it has some neat dialogue that could have been cooked better and also a decent amount of fun usage of the environment. The death is also incredibly based.
Ah, Inferno. I respectfully disagree. The episode is not bad, but I also find it lacks a lot of terribly interesting moments in the fight, and Atom is quite the idiot in it compared to Hank, who clearly carries the animation. I also find the ending argument somewhat weak, but I do like the editing of the analysis.
Oh, so we politely disagree, my queen.
Oh! Of course not, you boob! This is the Versus community. I will send 1,000 times 1,000 death threats and call you slurs. Yes!
When I see a body with a bullet in their cranium, I tend to understand that a gun might be at play.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into
me dropping this entire gimmick immediately. The episode's still good, great ending, cool start, boring middle. The end!
Hello? That's a mine.
Finders keepers, pal.
Killer vs. Misaka was good.
Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left! Yes, I have. Look! Just a flesh wound.
Skyrim vs. Dark Souls is an episode that I would give the coveted 10 out of 10 to if I still cared about arbitrary number scores. So the fact that it's sitting only at number 3 should be a good sign for the season right now. The analysis remains really solid to me. Not all the jokes are bangers, but shit like the cheese calc are too good for me to care. And the massively differing tone I find really interesting. Dovahkiin gets a far sillier and goofier analysis, but it also feels grand and large in scale at points, like a mythological tale with a silly tone. Oscar's Imposter has a much darker tone with more of a focus on the depth and themes of Dark Souls. The fact that neither of these two have much of a character means that each analysis is exactly as the name of the episode suggests. More of a case of an analysis towards the two games and their stories, using these two as a focal lens. Notably, however, I will say that the Undead's analysis isn't too dark and serious until they go to the actual narrative. It has a very similar silly tone to the Skyrim analysis, meaning for both sides you can see them as being treated similar until the lore comes in, drastically changing the tone of each analysis. From a certain point of view, you can see this as embodying their rivalry. Both games are similar in certain ways, and fun, which is important to both of them, but at their cores they are different experiences. But you can see why they were compared. As I was saying, I also still just really like the fight. Yes, it still has its problems, those haven't gone away. The Dragonborn's model is still really funny looking, and holy crap does he have some bad posture sometimes. The death still kinda sucks. I love the concept, but Dragonborn doesn't look to even struggle, and the Fusro is just the same sound clip as before. I like any of the ideas I've seen to correct this, either making him not use the full shout at any point before the ending, or having him use the sound clip from the trailer that has more impact, you know, the meme one. Or, you know, have a voice actor, they gave one to the Undead. But the episode otherwise is great. The sword fighting stuff is, yeah, it's pretty janky, but the trading of abilities, the decent usage of equipment and magic, and the awesome final act with the lightning clash, Undead grabbing and weaponizing Dragonborn's own magic against him, this breathtaking shot, the awesome sequences in the game, their last weapons, the actually cool clash, the usage of Valor's silence, stopping the raging force and dulling the whole thing until the Undead finally speaks right as his own Valor's silence ends. Did I say raging force? That's not... Pushing through the sword impaled through him? There's just so much awesome, and even the stuff before the climax is cool too, of course. I love the bow trading. It's like 3 banger moments back to back with the arrow to the knee just being a visual joke that isn't expressly drawn attention to, then Undead retaliating with an even bigger bow, but the Dragonborn countering by just screaming at the arrow, fucking awesome. And the start, the shot of the Undead's helmet showing a reflection of the Dragonborn is just wicked. It's such a good episode, so much passion and love went into it, and it's awesome. Wait, I completely forgot to keep the running gag of calling them Skyrim and Darks.
We're all standing up now. Bunch of jackasses standing in a circle.
Rocket vs. Stitch is in many ways inferior to Dark Souls vs. Skyrim. In fact, I think from an objective standpoint, it's almost certainly below Dark Souls vs. Skyrim. But here's the thing, okay? I fucking love Stitch. That's the beginning and the end of this segment, really. I love this episode for how well it captures the spirit of Stitch in his series. The fight sequence is just so fun from beginning to end. Maybe it's a bit short, sure, but I think any other major criticisms towards it, I just personally don't agree with. Not to say that I'm invalidating any other criticism made towards it, that's not how this works. They're just ones that I don't agree with. I don't personally think it was too one-sided towards either combatant, and I actually liked a lot of the gags. The banter this whole season has been kinda shant in general, I feel. Honestly, it's almost like Death Battle has gotten worse at banter as time has gone on. Usually it's 1 or 2 fun interactions, and a bunch of Marvel quips. And yes, this episode also kind of isn't much better in terms of the direct banter, but there are fun character interactions beyond direct dialogue that a lot of episodes don't have. Just expressions and doofy sounds they make back and forth, it's fun. Yeah, also I don't have a recurring gag for this segment, so let me just use an old one. Shoot me already!
I'm out of ammo.
You agreed to stay away! I lied.
Yeah, it's Vader vs. Obito. I did a whole video about how much I love it. You should go watch that. It holds up and nothing has changed. I love this episode, which is funny because this is probably my least favorite matchup they've done this whole season. But I love this episode, and it's a great symbol of how just because you don't like a matchup doesn't mean it won't become a great episode. Something that I've held for a while. Like, I just don't like the matchup. It's not like I have had anything against it necessarily. And it's not like I thought it was a bad matchup either. It's just a case of, like, Darth Vader and Versus. People fucking made it so unfun for so long. And, you know, it's still unfun. It's just this episode happens to be really fucking good. This was a first outing for the writer too. Fucking amazing job with that. That's insane. Claps to them. They did an amazing job. I'm